Okay, let's look at Zach's monthly budget. Up here, it gives you a little description and a little history of what is going on with Zach. His income before taxes or after taxes, some money he earns from investment is here. So 2250, and then and it gets added up, and he has an income of $2,300 per month. And then his expenses, and it talks about how many of these will stay the same from month to month. Things like the hydro, the heat and hydro, rent, internet, car insurance, things like that are all going to kind of stay the same. But things that'll change are groceries, food, like restaurants or fast food or skip dishes or things like that, entertainment, clothing, personal items, all this sort of stuff is all things that'll change. And then what it does is says, okay, his income is $2,300. His expenses is $2,250, which means he has left over $50 left that he can put into his savings. So what we want is to build a budget so that this number is positive. We don't want to have more money coming out for expenses than income, and that's going to be your challenge. So here you just have a look at what his starts with, and then we're going to move here and click on March. Then in March, we've got a new scenario. So it's March break. Zach decides to go to Montreal with some friends for a couple of days. That means his entertainment budget needs to go and change, and his gas price has got to go up. So what you're going to do then is adjust this March line here to reflect what's going on. So first it says his entertainment budget needs to change to $300. So it used to be $100, so we're going to change it to $300 because he's spending more extra $200 on his trip to Montreal. Next, it says his gas needs to go up by 75. That means we have to add 75 to this. So it's 95 plus 75 is $170. You see that that has gone up for up $75. And this difference column just sort of says what's different between March and February. So you have an idea of where you've gone up and down. Now, because he's gone on this trip and his gas expenses have gone up, you see that he's now in the hole here. His expenses are higher than his income. So that means he's going to have to change his budget around a little bit and try and save money elsewhere. So we can't save money on gas or entertainment, but we can definitely save money elsewhere, like fast food. So it says $180. Let's cut that down to $100. Okay, and let's write the explanation. So we're going to save $80 on fast food. Okay, so Zach is going to have less money for fast food. And clothing and personal items, well, he's not going to buy anything here, so I'm going to change that to 25. So we're going to only buy personal items, no new clothes. Okay, so that's okay. Now it's helped out a lot, but you see he's still in the minuses. So we're going to have to cut this back even a bit. For this one, I'm allowing you because it's in yellow, and these are the only things we're going to change is the yellow stuff. You're not going to get to change anything in white because you can't all of a sudden pay less rent or less heat and hydro. These are all kind of fixed costs. But for this one, I'm going to let you spend less on groceries. So, for example, you know he's going away for a bit, so he's probably going to spend a little bit less in groceries. So maybe we'll change this to $175. Okay, and you can say he is going away so he can afford less groceries. Now still we're $35 more, so I think what we'll have to do is cut this back even more and maybe make this to let's say $60. Okay, so we're gonna have to say change this to $120. Oops, not 1200, $120. Okay, and it's fast food. Oh, there we go. And you see now that he just has just enough. His expenses are back here. And this is what you would normally do. If you're going to go on a trip and spend a lot of extra money, then you have to save money elsewhere. And this is what the budget does for you. Okay, so that gives you an idea of what you're going to do for March, and then you move on to April and so on. Now, just for fun, when I move to April, you'll see that I've left these blank, only just to show you where some of these numbers are coming from, just to teach you a little bit about spreadsheets. So you see this number here is the addition of these two cells, okay? Um, if you look at the code here, it tells you equals sum bracket C5 colon C6. That means I want you to take the sum of C5, which is this one, C5, and C6, and take the sum of those, so add them up. So when we're going off over here to do what's necessary for here, we'll go equals sum bracket, and it even tells you what are the values. So we can type in, this time it's D5, so we type in D5 colon, and then to D6. So that says add all of them up from D5 to D6, push enter, and then you see that it adds them up. Now, that's one way you can do it. Another way, because spreadsheets are really, really smart here, is you can go equals sum bracket, and then you can actually highlight the columns you want to add up. So I'm just going to click and highlight those two columns, and you see it automatically types them in there, then push enter, and we're set. So let's try that strategy for this one. Equals sum bracket, and then we will add all of these all the way up down to there. And you see it's done D10 all the way down to D22, and push enter, and it'll get that column in here. Finally, here is where we check our income and our expenses. So again, we can kind of look at the code over here just to see what it says. It says equals C7 minus C23. So C7 is right here. So we take this one minus C23, and of course that's going to get you what you have left over. So we're going to do the same thing here, except we're going to go D7 minus D, I think it was 23, enter, and you see that we've got the $5 difference here, which is correct. Okay, so I just thought I'd show you that. When you go and do off this exercise, though, this will already be done for you like it was in March, but I just thought it'd be interesting for you to see that. So now we can come to April. Things have changed again, and look, Zach got a raise, so it's $250. So now this is going to be higher, so it's $2,500 now, and you can see he has more money, which means he'll be able to buy some other things. So you're going to adjust some things, like for example, your entertainment can go back to normal. It used to be 300, remember, from the Montreal trip, but it's going to go back down 200, back to normal. It says the other items return to normal, so you can put the other ones back to what it was before because you have this extra money. $100. So these are all things you're saying returns to normal, returns to normal. But then if I look here, you see, oh, he decides he's going to move to a bigger apartment. So his rent's gone up to 900. So this has got to change to 900, and that's the new apartment. And then it says he's going to have to spend more things because it's a bigger space. So now this is going to increase by 100. So now it's going from 60 to 160. But you still see that everything seems to be back to normal, and I've got money in the bank. Okay, these are sort of the steps that you're going to go off and do for your own activity, but I just thought I'd sort of walk you through it. So what you're going to do next now is go into Google Classroom, and you'll get a new budget for Jennifer, and you'll be able to see this, and you see that there's 6 months that you're going to go off and look at for September, October, November, December, and January. And each one you'll have to make some decisions. Remember, anytime you change one of the lines, okay, so if you decide that you're going to, maybe you're going to spend some more food on fast food this month, then make sure you explain it here. So returned to normal, but celebrated new apartment. So I went out a couple of more times this time, or Zach went out, or Jennifer, I guess. The Zach would go out. This should be Zach. Zach's budget. Okay, so just make sure that when you change one of these, that you explain what you're doing. And remember, only change the yellow highlighted things. Leave everything else the same. All right, so good luck with dealing with Jennifer's budget. There's a bunch of ones for you to do and the decisions you want to make.